Good morning, ladies. Happy Friday. I'm taking over for Evie today. Hope you're all staying safe out there. Let's get started. I wanted to start today with a hip opener, hip rotation. So you're going to bring that knee up and out to the side, externally rotating the hip, and then back to center. All right, so we're going to go up and out, and back to center. Up and out, feeling that hip open up. Hip flexors tend to get really
workout
tight.
again in 60
So we want to open up those hips, get them ready for our
work.
workout today. And let's do 2 more on that side, up and out, and back to center, internally rotating. 1 more, and back to center. All right, let's go to the left side or the other side, knee up and out, and back to center. Great. Balance required here too, always welcome that. Extra balance. Good, back to center, up and out, back to center. Let's do 2 more. We're going to continue with this, but we're going to add an arm circle, okay? So, we're going to start with this leg. We're going to step out, circle. Let's see, what am I doing here? Step out, let's do out, out, circle, circle. I think that's the most natural way to do it. So step, step, just like you were doing, and then circle, circle, opening up the shoulders and the chest. Step, step, circle, circle. Great. Getting warmed up here. Nice. Step, step, circle, circle. Good. Opening up the hips, opening up the chest. 2 muscle groups that tend to be tightened throughout the day. So we want to get those opened up right away here. 1 more. Step, step, circle, circle. Nice. All right, keeping your feet parallel. We're going to continue on that theme with the hips. Also giving those inner thighs a stretch. Feet parallel, pushing the hips back. Mindful of that bent knee not going beyond the foot. Okay, so you really want to push the hips back. Feeling that nice inner thigh stretch. And still opening up the hips here. Now, if you have a knee issue like an ACL, you can modify that range of motion, not go so far, perfectly fine. But hopefully you're still pushing those hips back, feeling that inner thigh, opening up the hips. Great. Let's do a couple doubles, little pulse, a little pulse. Try to keep that chest up if you can. A little pulse, slow and controlled. Excellent. Breathing, getting that breathing rhythm going. Nice.
Stop, exercise.
2 more. And 1 more. Excellent. All right, let's do a little booty kick, chest opener here. So you're going to keep that knee right underneath the hip.
Begin.
Heel goes to your butt there. Nice hamstring curl and dynamic quad stretch at the same time while you're opening up that chest. So again, keeping the knee underneath the body. If you have a meniscus or knee issue, sometimes that heel may not want to go too high, and that's okay. You can just lift it a little bit. Or if your knees are good, close to the butt as you can, activating those hamstrings, opening up that chest. All right, let's stay with this and go to a row. Good.
Exercise. Still
Still doing that hamstring activation. Nice. Good. All right, let's do a little punch. Heel in front, punching across the body.
Begin set
Punch.
4.
Abs nice and engaged. Shoulders stay down. Good. Think about engaging those abs now. Vigorous punch. Working those arms. Core engaged. We're going to start with a sumo squat today with an option to hold a weight overhead. So, or not. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. Let's do just a few squat jacks. Hips back. Little squat. Arms overhead. Hips back. Arms overhead. Good.
Stop, exercise.
Not my best side. Sorry, I just want to show you those hips back. Great. All right. So we're going to start with a sumo squat today. If you're able to, well, first of all, we'll get the sumo squat set up. Feet just outside the hips, pointed outward, okay? Focusing on inner thighs and glutes. Quads working as well, all right? So we're going down as much range as you can get without the knees collapsing forward, okay? So this is more of an up and down motion. Regular squat, you're pushing your butt back, right? This is more of an up and down motion. Think about being between two panes of glass here. Up and down, pushing the knees apart, working the inner thighs and glutes. All right, if you're able to hold your arms overhead, we're going to do that today, which is a little more challenging. And for those of you who would like to add a weight to that, you're going to add one weight if your shoulders are good. If you've got a shoulder issue and you want to still hold a weight, no problem, you can hold it right here, okay? So, if you're holding the weight overhead, remember that anytime you have a weight overhead, we'll do some pulses here now, okay? You are working the core, okay? So, shoulders are down, right? You should feel this working. Of course, you've got your inner thighs, your glutes, and your quads working. Small pulse, up and down. Knees are never going in, never collapsing in. If anybody out there is unable to do a sumo squat or squat,
Exercise.
feel free to do a seated leg raise. Another modification if you've got a knee issue and the squats just don't work, okay? All right, I'm going to add a side bend to this. And that's going to be optional. So if you're good in this position and you're able to add a side bend, back to center, good. So torso is not moving. You're just reaching to the side, arms moving. You should feel the sides here. And we're just staying in that sumo squat position. Woo! Inner thighs, glutes, quads. And now we've added the sides. Excellent job. If it's too much with the side bend, you're going to continue with the sumo squats, okay? I'm just adding variations here. There's our break. Shake it out. For the last set, for those of you who say, okay, let's keep going with the variations. Arms overhead. Option to add that heel raise. Back to center. So now we've got the calves involved. If you've got a knee issue, you don't want to lift the heel, most likely, it's not going to be a good thing. So you can stay in that sumo squat, either fixed or continue with the pulse if that feels okay. Good, keeping that weight right over the head if you can. Woo! Abs working on that side bend, and with the weight overhead, if you've got that going, abs are working. Inner thighs and glutes, should be really feeling it. Let's do one more on each side. Woo! Excellent. All right, shaking those legs out. We are going to go to a bent over row next. If you've got a bench, sofa, bed handy, you're going to use that. You can always do a standing version here if that works better for you, if it's hard for you maybe to get on your knee. Okay? I'm going to do it on the bench. So my back is flat, my shoulders right over my wrist. I'm going to grab a couple of weights here because they're not too heavy. And I'm going to pull right in that armpit and then slowly lower. All right? So my bent knee on the bench is right underneath my hip. Back is nice and flat. There's your exhale. And we are working that upper back, shoulder, postural muscles here.
Stop, exercise.
Nice. Let's do one more. Now, if your weights are light, you want to keep going through 2 on one side, please do so. If you have heavier weights and you want to switch sides, that's okay too. I think most of you probably don't have super heavy weights here because this is a strong muscle group, that back. So we're going to do 2 on one side, okay? Now notice my head and neck are in a neutral position. A lot of people want to do this, especially if there's a mirror in front of you, which you probably don't have today. So let's keep that head and neck neutral with the spine. Good, and you're slowly lowering, not letting gravity bring it down. You are controlling that lowering of the weight. And also, I'm not dropping my shoulder here, okay? Shoulders stay square the whole time as you slowly lower. All right, let's switch sides. Great work. Woo. All right, shoulder over the wrist, shoulder square, back nice and flat.
Begin set.
Head in that neutral position, pulling into that armpit, slowly lowering. Nice. Working that back side, upper back. Again, postural muscles, really important to keep those strong so that we don't go into a rounded posture as we get older. Slowly lowering. Great, ladies. Right in that armpit. Nice.
Stop.
Slowly lower. Now there's our break if you need it. I'm going to keep going because my weights aren't super heavy, because I can, all right? So feel free to do what's best for you today. Slowly lowering. Ready to start that fourth set if you did take a break. Here we go. Right with that armpit. Slowly lower. Remember, you're exhaling on the exertion, all right? That's how I remember that. Exhale on the exertion, which is when you're lifting that weight up. And there's your inhale. A couple more here. Slowly lowering. Nice. Almost there, ladies. Slowly lowering.
Stop exercise and
Well
switch to the
done.
next station.
Okay. We're going to do a little balance biceps combination next. So I'm going to have you start with your left foot in front of your right foot. And I want that weight to be equally distributed between right and left. Now for some of you, you're going to see right away that this is you're already balancing, okay? If you're able to throw in some arm curls with this, then go for that. And if you want more of a challenge, you're going to do alternating simultaneously, okay? Now, if you're still finding that fairly easy to balance, and you want to lift that leg up, we'll start with 2 here, and do a little leg lift with the arm curls. Woo! There we go, I looked away. So, remember, it reminds me, so you're staring at something fixed when you're balancing. So if you start looking around, look at something moving, it's going to throw off your balance. All right, other leg in front. So modification, or first option, 1 foot in front of the other with some arm curls.
Begin set 2.
And then from there, if you want a little more of a challenge, you're here, okay? Alternating simultaneously. If you want to do that leg lift, you're going to do that leg lift. And let's do it with the arm curl. Now I'm pointing my foot out, you notice I'm going for a little inner thigh here with that quad activation. Option to touch down with that leg if you need to touch down in between. If you do not need to touch down, you're just keeping that leg up and doing a little pulse with that arm curl. Great, switching sides. So lots of variations here, lots of options for everybody. Again, do what's right for you today. You could try the next progression if you're feeling confident. Now my left leg is in front. I'm equally weighted, starting off with some arm curls. Option to do simultaneous and balancing. This challenges the balance a little bit more. If you want to do that leg lift, you're here. Doing both arms together, probably the easiest way to coordinate this one. Nice, pointing that foot out, you got that inner thigh, you got the quad working, standing leg is working. Woo-hoo. Well done, ladies. Option to touch down if you need it. Elbows pinned to the sides on that arm curl. So a lot of times I see people doing this with the arm curls. That's working the shoulder too. I want just the biceps working today, okay? All right, your right foot is now in front. Knees soft. Last set, pointing the foot out. If you're doing that
set 4.
leg lift, slowly lowering with control, staying nice and tall through the torso. Woo! Nice, ladies. There's your exhale. Slowly lower. Excellent. If you're standing on both feet, You're doing that, still doing that arm curl simultaneous if you want more of a challenge. Alternating. Nice. Almost there. Up. Slowly lower. Great compound movement, great balance movement. Slowly lower. Fantastic. All right, we are going to go to some abs next. I'm going to move this down here so I can see what I'm doing. We are going to go to a dead bug. So, option here. This is your starting position. Knees over the hips.
Set 1.
If you have a back issue and you need to keep one foot down for more back support, you are going to do one diagonal, opposite arm to leg, drawing that navel in from the very beginning, keeping that back nice and flat, and going in and out with that leg and arm. If your back is good, you want a more advanced version, you're going to do both legs up, opposite arm and leg away from the body. You're keeping that navel pulled in so that the abs are braced here.
Stop.
And you're breathing. Head and neck in that neutral position. Great. Coming in with the knees if you need to here. I should mention also if that lever becomes too long, again, if it's pulling on your back at all, you can go down with a
set 2.
bent knee here, okay? You're just shortening that lever so it's not pulling on your back, all right? So, shoulders down, hands over the shoulders, reaching out with that heel if you're able to do that straight leg. Again, you can keep that knee bent if it's too much. You can do one side, but you're all the while, whichever option you're doing, you're pulling that navel and making sure that lower back is not coming off the mat. Good, you're breathing here. Great ab exercise here, coordination. Great taking a break. And sometimes I like to do a little windshield wiper on that break. Knees fall to one side, knees fall to the other side. All right, set number 3 coming up. Abs pulled in from the very beginning.
Begin set 3.
Opposite arm and leg away from the body. Back to center. Making sure that knee's right over the hip. You don't want the knee here, okay? You want it right over that hip. That's going to be more ab effective. Reaching that heel away from you if you're able to straighten that leg. You should really be feeling those abs, ladies. I know I am. Woo! How can something so benign looking be so effective? And it is.
Stop exercise.
One more. Relax. Great job. We have one more set. You also might be feeling the legs a little bit on this. Sometimes that's carryover from the last exercise. I know I am from our leg lifts. All right, knees over the hips. Last set here now.
Begin set
Let's
4.
really focus on keeping that form perfect. You're bracing those abs, everything buttoned up here, pulling that navel in. Lower back is not lifted off the mat, whichever version you're doing. If you need to go to one foot down for more back support, please do that, okay? That's what that looks like, all right? We are almost ready here for our next exercise, which is going to be some skull crushers. Working those triceps.
Stop exercise and switch
One
to
more.
the next station.
Nice. Okay. Skull crushers. So, we're still on our backs, knees are bent, arms over the shoulders just like they were in the last exercise. You want to make sure your shoulders aren't up, but they're down into the floor.
Begin
All right.
set 1.
You're going to keep that upper arm super still as you lower the forearms and you extend up. Now, it's really easy to butcher this exercise. I see people moving their arms like this. You do not want to do that. I am just interested in the triceps today here, okay? So, elbows stay right over the shoulders. Slowly lowering the forearms, extending up. Hands end up right over the shoulders there, okay? And there's
Stop
your exhale.
exercise.
Now, feel free to go through here if your weights aren't too heavy. Take a break if you need it. My weights aren't too heavy, so I'm going to keep going, all right? Another mistake I see here with form sometimes
Set
is
2.
that people start doing this with their wrist, okay? So you want to make sure that your wrist, your hand, and the weight are perpendicular, okay? So you're not going to have any wrist issues. You're just moving the forearm and the hand as a unit, all right? Exhaling. Right over the shoulders, starting to shake a little bit here, even with these lighter weights. Great.
Stop.
All right,
Exercise.
taking a break, relax. Shaking the arms out. All right, so again, we are focusing on the triceps. Head and neck are not involved in this exercise. If you're feeling anything in your neck at all,
Set 3.
you can go to one arm at a time, okay? And that should remedy that problem, all right? And if you're staying with 2, slowly lowering together, elbows right over the shoulders, exhaling on that lift, okay? Great. If you're getting too tired, you can also go to the alternating, okay? I'm going to take a quick break. So if you're starting to get fatigued a little bit, instead of losing your form, go to one at a time. And I always like to keep one up, isometrically working in that situation. All right, shoulders down. Here's our last set. Slowly lowering, extending up. And you are working against gravity here, so I hope those triceps are really feeling it. I know mine are. Slowly lowering. Exhaling. Nice, ladies. There's your inhale. Keeping that upper arm still. Exhale. Hands right over the shoulders. Let's do one more. Slowly lowering. And exhale, going up towards that ceiling. Well done, ladies. Great job with that. All right. If you've got a band, you're going to grab that now. We're going to put that around your ankles and then over your knees for our bridges. All right. If you don't have a band, no worries. You can still do bridges. We can make them nice and challenging.
Set 1.
If you've got the band, you're going to spread your feet apart, about hip width apart, and maybe a little bit wider, so that you have tension in the band from the very beginning. You're squeezing the glutes. And we're going to stay up for this first set if you're able to, and just do a small, slow push out, activating that hip and glute, all right? If it's too much for you to stay up, you can go up and down, still focusing on squeezing those glutes before every lift. Abs stay nice and tight. If you want more of a challenge for your stability, core stability, you can put your arms up in the air, all right? All right, coming down, set number 2. You can stick with this again. I'm just going to give you options to add different things. Feel free to stick with a basic bridge if that works best for you and your back. We're going to bring our feet about hip width apart on this set number 2. And if you're able to, we're going to do a little marching. If your back feels good and you want more of a challenge, again, arms can be here if you need a little more stability. Arms over the shoulders. Extra core challenge here. Challenge your core to stabilize. Should be feeling the hamstrings here. Glutes working. Abs are engaged. Good work, ladies. Keeping hips nice and still.
Stop. Exercise.
Excellent. All right, for those of you who want to do a single leg option, we're going to do that next. Squeezing the glutes coming up, both feet together. Option to keep both feet down if that works best for you. If you do want a single leg option,
Set 3.
you're going to lift that leg parallel to the other leg, and we're going to do some little pulsing. I'm on my left leg here, that's my working leg. Hamstring and glute right away, all right? Right leg is straight, I'm reaching that heel towards the opposite wall or whatever's in front of you. Hips stay nice and even. Woo! Good work, ladies. Core is engaged. Excellent. Hamstring working, glutes are working.
Stop exercise.
One more. Nice. All right, the best way I found to rest that hamstring is just to stretch those legs straight out. Okay, that's going to rest the back of the leg there, which I personally need. All right, I'm going to the other leg. Again, feel free to stick with 2 legs if you want.
Begin set
Keep
4.
the tension in the band, no matter which way you're doing it. All right? Double leg or single leg, you're keeping that tension in the band. If you're doing single leg, driving through that, in my case, it's the right leg. Keeping the other leg straight and parallel. The bent knee, hips are nice and even. Woo! Hammies and glutes, abs working, breathing throughout. Keeping the tension in that band. Nice work, ladies.
Stop
Almost there.
exercise and switch
Woo!
to the next station.
Well done. All right, we're going to lose this band. Oh my gosh, time's flying. All right, we're going to do some side planks today for those of you who can. If you cannot do a side plank, your options are to do a front plank on bench, on your knees, on the mat. Another option, which is kind of fun,
Begin set
is a
1.
little mermaid option here. You can do a little, like a side crunch, all right? Lifting my shoulder here and my feet, all right? I'm going to go with the side plank. Remember on that side plank, elbow, hips, and heels should all be lined up. I like to raise my arm up, optional. Abs are engaged, glutes are nice and tight. Feet are dorsiflex, which means toes towards your chest, so you can keep those quads fired, okay? There we go,
Stop
nice,
exercise.
ladies. Well done. All right, on the side plank, I do like to switch arms. A lot of people have shoulder and neck issues, so I do like to switch arms on that. I'm going to add a hip drop. Oh, why not add a weight too? All right, option to add a weight here, hip drop.
Begin set
But
2.
before you do that, make sure you're all lined up. Your glutes are tight, your abs are tight. Elbows right underneath that shoulder, head and neck in that neutral position. There's the hip drop. Option to hold the weight overhead. Make sure those glutes are nice and tight to protect that back. All right, I forgot to mention the modification here. If you're doing a side plank and you want to do it on your knees, knees are still aligned with that elbow. Option to straighten that leg, okay? And you can still do the hip drop. But you want to keep those hips up, abs engaged, glutes tight, okay? Great, we got 2 more sets, ladies. Let's make this count. Feet dorsiflex if you're in that full side plank position. Glutes tight, abs tight.
Begin set 3.
Option to add that hip drop. This is only if your back is good and you want more of a challenge, all right? Pulling the navel in, breathing, glutes are tight. Penultimate set, ladies. Come on, let's push through, let's do it. You can do this. Feeling strong, taking care of ourselves today. Nice.
Stop exercise.
Excellent, we have one final set, ladies. Well done. Starting whenever you like here. Feet are dorsiflex. If you're on your knees, you can be up. You're squeezing the glutes. Your head and neck are in that neutral position.
Begin set
Glutes
4.
nice and tight, abs nice and tight. Hip drop option. Final set, ladies. Come on, push through. I don't want anything left in the tank here. We're going for it. Woo! Excellent. Closing in. Seconds away from the end here. Working hard. Nice job, ladies. Almost there.
Stop
Seconds away.
exercise.
Well
Plank
done.
is now complete.
Great job, ladies. All right, let's finish up with a little cat-cow, which is a great back stretch. Hands underneath the shoulders. Either a flat hand, or if you've got wrist issues, feel free to go up on the knuckles here. Shoulders are down, abs are engaged. As you inhale, you're going to raise that tailbone up, raise that chest up, mindful of those shoulders being down, away from the ears, and holding there. And as you exhale, you're going to pull that navel in, drop that head and neck round back. Great back stretch here. Inhale, chest up, hips up, hold, back extension. And exhale, dropping pulling the navel and dropping the head and neck. We're going to go back into a little bit of a child's pose. And you're going to kind of reach your hips to one side a little bit, all right, just to stretch out those hips. And come back to center as you inhale, exhale, reaching the hips to the other side, just a little hip drop here. So you're stretching out the lower back still, but also that hip on the side. All right, coming back to center. Bringing those feet up. Deep breath in, crossing arms in front. Exhale, reaching up nice and tall to the ceiling. Great job, ladies. Thanks so much for coming. Way to take care of yourselves today.